On Wednesday, school principal Mr. Dustin stopped by our studio to chat with Topeka West Television's own Josh Scheck.
I'm your Topeka West principal, Mr. Dustin, and he's been nice enough to drop by our studio to talk about some of the more recent activities and news concerning our school. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
There has been a lot in the news late about our state budget crisis. Of course, I know it affects school as well. Can you share your thoughts a bit about the issues as well as to how prepared you think you are to handle this tough situation?
Sure. There's been several things that have happened in the last few weeks regarding the budget. One happened about 10 days ago or so where the governor, by executive action, removed he actually removed 1.5% of the state's budget to all schools across the state. For the Topeka Public Schools, that ended up being about $818,297. The district has a list of priorities in the way that they've worked through to deal with that, which has, of course, affected all schools, including Topeka West. Here, for the most part, the biggest change for us is we had to give back 50% of our second semester budgets that were allocated to departments. It also has put a hold on field trips and things like that, anything that comes out of the general fund that funds those items, professional development, field trips, any travel, those type of things have all been cut, which will certainly affect some students here and programs here. We hopefully, through our activity dollars and some other things that we have that are separate from general fund money, will be able to continue and do a lot of the things that we think are important for kids, and we'll work through those as best we can and try to minimize the impact as much as possible to Topeka West right now.
So changing topics here a bit, the atmosphere of school spirit, particularly recently, seems to have gone up. Would you agree with that? And if so, what do you think are the reasons why Charter spirit has grown? Also, what are the things we all could do to increase our school spirit?
Sure, I agree with you. I think school spirit's been up lately. It has been kind of sad for us that we don't have very many Friday home basketball games. So Friday's a big night. Friday we were out at Shawnee Heights this past week, and we had really what I thought was a pretty good amount of students that showed up at Shawnee Heights for a game. With us only having Tuesday evening ball games, it's probably had a little impact on student attendance at ball games. But we've had pretty good crowds all in all. We just recently had the snowball dance, and I don't know if you attended or not, but I'm told that that was one of the larger attendances to a dance that we've had for a long time, and people were pretty impressed that students stayed throughout the evening. We had a pretty good turnout for that night. All in all, I agree. School spirit seems to be up. Students are more engaged in school and things happening at school, and so I just encourage people as much as possible come to events. You know, we have a couple of home basketball games left this semester yet, both on Tuesday nights. So if people are available, they need to come, and you know, the musicals this weekend as well. So get out and support your school and just be part of all the things that happen around here.
I think the prop for that dance was like close to $1,000, so it was pretty.
That sounds about right.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, pretty well attended. I know they were happy that they had sold enough tickets ahead of time to pay for the DJ.
I think
and
that
earned some money already.
That was one of our main goals in student council, was to try and get like a number to see how many people were really going to attend beforehand.
That's always, as I talk to the other principals across the Centennial League, when we talk about events and school dances and things like that, that's the biggest issue. Is a lot of them can't make enough money off a dance to even afford to pay for the DJ. So we've done that ahead of time and earned some money. So that was pretty good.
So now, as we're recording this interview, parent-teacher conferences are going on, and can you talk about the importance of parent-teacher communication and what you feel are some of the keys to effective communication between teachers, parents, and even students?
Sure. You know, we deal with a lot of situations where I'll get an email or a phone call from a parent or hear something from a student, and once you actually all sit down and talk about it, there's usually some form of miscommunication that happened along the way, or somebody misunderstood something that was said. And so the more that we can all communicate and talk about the issues we have, the concerns for students, we want children to be successful here just the same as their parents do. And so we have a few different ways of doing that, and we might see things a little differently. But when we can all come together and sit down and talk about things, it usually works out pretty well to benefit the student. And so even though we're in parent-teacher conferences now, even beyond that, if parents would just communicate as much as possible with teachers, send an email, make a phone call, anything you can do, we want to do what's best for everybody's children, and we'll certainly try to do that. But the easiest way to make that happen is when we all communicate together.
So there's been a little bit of talk over the past few years about installing an electronic type sign at 21st in Bell. Sounds like it's a great idea, by the way. How close is this to being a reality? And like, what are the benefits of having a sign like that in the location instead of out front on the school on fair lawn?
So, a couple different things happening along with the sign. With the budget situation the way it is currently, we were a little concerned that some of that may be in jeopardy. With our activity fund, which pretty much is just Topeka West money, it stays here. We also have a savings account that's been tied to that. And that money has been with the school for quite a while. And there's a pretty substantial amount of money that's tied to that activity account. As we looked for the sign, and I'll go ahead and talk about the school bank and the coffee shop as well that we're working on. All of those things we plan to fund with money from the activity fund. So we're not using any general fund dollars or tax dollars coming into the school district to pay for those things. So we do intend to go ahead and do the school bank, and we've partnered with Educational Credit Union to do that. We'll also do the school coffee shop, which we've partnered with PTs. The renovations on both of those and all the equipment, everything necessary to make that happen, Topeka West is just paying for it through activity fund dollars. And then the sign at 21st and Bell, what we're looking at there is a freestanding sign that's double-sided that would face kind of a long bell, so at 21st Street, coming from either direction, you can see what's there. We think it's good that it's an easy way for us to promote the things that are happening here at school, communicate more with the community, as well as between the sign and the coffee shop. There's opportunity there to generate some revenue from the school to go back into that activity fund. So we could sell some advertising on the sign. We can also then, through coffee shop and sales there, also put money back into the activity fund to benefit more programs here, which hopefully through budget cuts and things, we were able to offset some of that and sustain some things on our own by generating dollars through those things. So we're pretty excited that we have the resources to be able to do that and are going to be able to move forward with that. Hopefully, certainly by the start of school next year, all of those things will be completed. We're hopeful that a couple of them may be done before school's out this year.
Yeah, because on days like this, I know a lot of kids would love to have a hot, warm cup of coffee.
Warm cup of coffee, yeah. So hopefully we'll have that ready to go for next year.
So we know that social media is everywhere. Most students have some form of it. With that thought in mind, how important is social media in spreading the overall message of the school? Like, what steps, if any, is Topeka West taking in that area, and what can Topeka West students and members of Charger Nation do to help?
Sir, this year we've started with a school Facebook page. The Booster Club and Westside Pride, they also have a Facebook page that they use. We find primarily, and you probably agree with this, that that's where most of the parents are right now. Not many students are on Facebook, but we try to have something different and update Facebook almost every day. Whether it's a new cover photo or whatever, something about the events going on for the day. We try every day to get something done there. Twitter, we also have a Twitter account. Athletics also has a Twitter account. So we try with that to give more student-specific updates to things. And that's primarily who is following us on Twitter are students for the most part. We have some parents there, but the majority of people there are students. And so those things we tend to do more for just the day-to-day student-related things, share scores from ball games or events that have happened. We have a lot of our other like individual athletic programs that are on Twitter and Facebook too, and so we link to all those accounts and try to share all of that information. Really the whole goal is to, as much as possible, just communicate more and share more about what's happening at Topeka West, and we find that's just a real easy, convenient way to do that. It takes, just a couple minutes to put something on Facebook or Twitter, and then it's shared and reshared, and we've had a few things that have been pretty popular on there that have been reshared and retweeted a lot. So we'll continue to do that. We still, of course, need more people to follow us and like our page and all of that. So I think we're up to about 800 likes on Facebook, and we have a couple hundred Twitter followers right now. So there's certainly room to grow there with lots more people.
I know I follow a few, and I get some pretty good updates from those, and it's like on Spirit Days or stuff like that, I know where to look for and just like to find the latest news.
Sure. So usually I try to start my day when I get here in the morning. I log into both Facebook and Twitter and see, the Stuco is pretty good about putting stuff out there, and so we'll retweet some of those things and things like that. Just see what happened overnight and make sure we communicate as much as we can with the things that are going on.
So my last question involves our academic situation here at West. Many students are beginning to consider high school, and some across the city and county are considering transferring to different schools. Thinking about those kids who might come visit us, what makes Topeka West such a great academic fit for students?
We've had a lot of interest this year in students, especially students that attend private and parochial schools have an interest in wanting to attend Topeka West. And so I've probably been getting about 3 or 4 phone calls a week and having several students come over and spend a day shadowing students here, trying to get kind of, really we leave them alone. We just let them come and be a student for a day and kind of see what it's like to be here for a day. For the most part, that's been pretty successful. Enrollment, as most people know, was up this year. We had about 120 or 30 students more than we were projected to have. We're projected to have another large freshman class again next year. We anticipate that we'll have an increase in enrollment overall again for next year. Part of that is due, I think, to a lot of the good things happening at Topeka West and just being more positive and sharing the things that happen. Academically, you know, this is a pretty good school. The most recent data that we have to point to that is we got our ACT Work Keys results, which all of our seniors took that back in October, and we had the highest scores in all those areas across the board in the district. So our math, reading, and locating information scores were the highest of any of the high schools. You know, that's something to be pretty proud of, and it's just another way to share that there are good academic things happening at Topeka West. We have a lot of AP and honors course offerings. We hear from people there's just some confusion around that you know, various schools have more of this available or less of that wherever, and don't really understand all of the things that we have available to students here. And so a lot of what we've done is just try to promote that and let people know the things that we do have available to encourage more students to stay here. It's not really about trying to recruit students from anybody else's school. We just want the students that live in our attendance area and belong to Topeka West to attend Topeka West and be part of the good things happening here.
Mr. Dick, is there anything else you'd like to add today?
I don't think so. I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and visit with you.
Well, thanks for joining me today. I know you speak for many who really appreciate what you're doing here at West, and we'll be right back.
It was great to have Mr. Dick stop by. We appreciate the great work he's doing for our school.